It's okay, I'm almost done.
Well, you should have been done forever ago. Whatever.
Shut
We'll
up.
do it live. Here we go. Somebody who's not Corey, tell us what happened last time.
So last time
We
we
found Harsel.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, I'm just happy we found Harsel. That's all. Continue.
We met part 2 of the Rhodian thug group, Rhodanians, and we slaughtered them like animals.
Yeah, like the heroes y'all are.
Yes. I was irritated because we're on the beach and it's sandy and it's coarse and rough and irritating and gets everywhere. And after our victorious battle, we explored our new ship that we just happened to find the keys to on one of their dead bodies. And while we were doing that, 2 Lapras came floating up, carrying a couple battle droids and some Aqualishes, and a guy named Captain Harsel, who IT began talking to.
Cheers. There's 3 Lapari.
3, sorry.
Laparices?
Lapri.
Laparine?
I think the plural of it would still just be Lapras.
That's a bunch of bullshit.
I think it is. I honestly think it is.
And that leads us to where we are now, chit-chatting with Harsel.
Okay. This bears repeating.
Oh yeah, also I almost died.
Yeah, I would have felt bad if you died in my game and then you died in the other game.
It would have been a good week.
I'm gonna reread this because it does bear repeating. So just to refresh everybody's memory, the human and everyone, they come up on their Lapari because the Lapari, though they are aquatic beasts, they actually do walk up on shore, and as they do, the boats that were floating behind them, like tethered to their neck, kind of fall into place along their backs. The human was a weathered, dark-skinned man and has visible scars from a Nexu across his bald head and face, and he's wearing a battered Clone Wars era blast vest and has an old heavy blaster at his hip. But before any of you, including him, can say anything, a voice comes from behind you, and you recognize that it's IT3. And he says, "Captain Harsal, sir. I'm so glad to see that you're still alive. You have no idea how long I've waited to find you again." Well, silly me, I suppose. Of course you do. As you've ordered, I have all the pertinent plans and distribution deals committed to memory, and I'm happy to report that I've made great strides in developing your plans with Mr. Ropak, even if they have taken a more generational time frame than we expected. And then Harsal looks at IT3 and he kind of chuckles to himself and he says, "Oh, I knew you were clever, IT, but well done." And then he kind of turns to the rest of you and eyes you a little bit suspiciously, and he says, "Well, you've got my old droid, and I never expected to see that irritatingly resourceful thing again, but why don't y'all tell me who the hell you are and where's Ropak?"
We prefer to think of him as more irritating than resourceful.
I suppose it depends on what you have him doing, yes?
I'm just going to pass right on through that. Just push through the terrible first impression. Captain Harsal, sir. My name is Talik. You can call me Tally. And this is our group that we were actually hired by Roam to come and find you.
Okay, so you were hired by Riom, but where's Ropak?
We have not been told anything about... Wait, actually, before I say that, have we been told anything about anybody named Ropak besides...
Ropak is Riom's dad.
Right.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah. Riom is the son of Ropak and has hired us to find you and the remains of the San Alaor.
We should do them Destiny points. She's played Star Wars before.
Oh, hey, yeah.
Remind me to
Look at that.
do that when Rick. Remind me to have Rick roll his. 1 second.
All right.
Also, that little thing called obligation.
See, y'all are going to get an obligation-free episode.
Dang.
Now look what you did.
Great
The
job.
poll is cleared. Roll your destiny.
Oh, God.
Just stack them on there, guys.
Ooh.
Wait, did it roll one?
Sam, you did not roll.
Oh, oops. Yeah, I rolled. Oh, my
Oh.
God. What the fuck just happened?
And then,
sorry guys, I shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, you shouldn't have said a fucking thing. You're not allowed to speak for the rest of the session. Just kidding.
we will do alphabetically from A to Z, with A being 0. Somebody roll a D100 and find out who's strained by their obligation this session.
I'm just kidding, Samira.
48, so that is character number 3. And since it starts with Dr. Bunches and then goes to Kodo and then Sam.
Oh boy, I get strain?
You get strain. Slap it right on top of all of those wounds you are currently carrying around.
Hey, that's fine. I only have 1 strain, oddly enough. So it's just 1 strain that I get, or is it like 2?
Just 1, if I
Okay.
recall correctly. We also have a Rick now.
Yay, Rick's here.
Yay.
Sorry for being dumb and late and stuff.
That's
Okay.
fine.
Oh,
You
hey.
are just in time to see that the entire group rolled Dark Side Destiny points, and some of them rolled 2 Dark Side Destiny points.
Oh no. Let me
So
Oh,
you-
yeah,
let me
it's bad.
keep that trend going.
It's very bad.
Kodo
Hey.
is the only
Yeah,
one
finally.
light side pointing it up.
Better late than never.
Yes. I'll give you inspiration for that one.
Yay.
Jokes on him.
I'll
We're
never-
not playing D&D. All we have done so far is we went over the conversation that last session ended with. Since we skipped a week, I wanted to make sure it was fresh in everyone's mind. So the droid talked to Harsal talked to y'all, and right now the question was, where the hell's Ropak? And y'all were like, oh, well, his son hired us to come find you and the Sadalor.
Yep, and that is exactly where we are. Also, there's a pretty
Cool.
new ship here.
That's the thing that is there.
I'm just pretty sure that that's the only thing that Kodo really cares about.
Yes.
So it's pretty obvious to us. I mean, Ropak has definitely passed, right? I mean, it's his son taking over and everything. He's definitely
Yes.
dead. Okay.
Now see, here's something that I actually messed up, and I had to go and invent a way around it. So, because of how the book was organized, I went from here's the thing that's happening and skipped to the page for that, and I missed that bit about, oh yeah, Roblox dead. So when I had Riom tell y'all to come here and to find the ship, he sent y'all to find his dad and Harsal. And so for several episodes, all of my recaps said, y'all got to go find Ropak and Harsal. Well, Ropak's totally dead. And you may remember me going, oh man, I fucked up a thing hardcore on Discord. And that was that thing. So we're just going to play with IT is a dick and totally didn't tell y'all or Riom that Ropak has died. It's canon now.
Okay.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, we all already hate IT anyway. And
I told you guys he was a jerk.
It actually
So-
fits in with IT's character quite well.
Yeah. So has he conveyed that to us now, or he's like, or we still don't know if Ropak is alive?
In character, y'all don't know that because
Okay, got it.
Harsal asked, where's Ropak? And y'all responded with, oh, well, his son sent us here.
Right.
Nobody was like, what do you mean he's not with you?
Yeah, like.
So Harsal hasn't asked that question yet.
Okay,
But
got it. All caught up.
sure. Let me read this page real quick.
Well,
Yeah,
if
so-
that's the case, then can I readjust what I said just a little bit and just tell him
Yep.
that? Okay, so I'll just say that's a little strange that you asked that, considering that Ropok's son was the one that sent us here to find both him and you.
He's gonna like, he's looking at Sam as Sam's talking, and then he's going to turn his attention to IT3, and IT3 is going to kind of fidget in that stupid, nervous, like, protocol droid C3PO way and go, yes, about that. It turns out it was much easier to get Riom to go along with the plans that Harsal and I had set in motion, considering that he was under the assumption that his father was still on the Saw-Nala Ore. So,
Damn, IT.
yes, it was much easier to get him to funnel Isotech funds and resources into finding the ship, considering that he was conveniently unaware of the fact that his father died in Imperial custody, undergoing questioning about the location of the ship, in fact.
My jaw is like totally hanging open. I'm like thinking about how savage IT is. I try
That's
to
cold.
collect myself and turn to Harsal and say, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Harsal is also momentarily like taken aback, and then he kind of like, you got the impression from him in his opening statement that he knows that the droid is kind of, like he said, resourceful. So he's gonna go, well, no matter. You say that you have the plans and connections all pathed out, and if Riom is still willing to work with us and set up supply lines as we had decided, then, as you say, the plans are still in place, even if they have taken a generational adjustment.
Wow, Harsal is like adjusting very well to all of this new information.
That actually might still pose a problem, considering Riom believes his father to be alive, and once we bring him the news that he is not, his disposition on the deal might change.
We'll still get paid, right? I like whisper to
We
Sam.
Sam just kind of nods at you.
I think the $1 million question, literally, Captain Harsal, is whether or not you know what happened to the treasure.
Well, to handle your first question, which is in what we do with Riom, that is a matter between Riom and the Imperial authorities for them not telling him, and he can certainly be angry with IT3. However, I have spent the last 20 years in a jungle and had no way to update on the status of his father, so I don't think I'm at fault there, and clearly the group of you cannot be held responsible for that. So I don't think that's a factor to be played. Ropok's death should not affect the deal that we have in place with Isotech, because I am in no way at fault for the information on the outside of this blasted planet. For your second question, the treasure of the Saw-Nala Ore, as it were, it depends on your definition thereof, I suppose. There are certainly areas of the ship, particularly the vault, that are inaccessible, but all of the stuff that we escaped with is still in our custody, including the primary prize being Kratala and her cybernetics. She is under my employ, and the deal that I have with Isotech for her technology should still stand. So that is the important thing. However, were you so resourceful, you might be able to assist us in salvaging the wreck itself, because we have yet been unable to access the vaults of the crashed ship, even with the years that have passed.
If you can provide me with a strong enough power source, I should be able to access whatever's in that ship, regardless of where it's at.
I think the first set of order is to establish contact and supplies with Isotech so that we can set up a more proper base of operations, because at this point we are very clearly dealing with aged scrap and technology, and if we are going to set up a full operation to include the salvaging operation, we're going to need more than debris from a crashed cruiser.
Sam kind of looks at Harsal, and then back to the ship that they just kind of won. He's like, what about a brand new freighter, or at least mostly new compared to the Salnala ore? You could at least get some use out of this, and if there's a tracker on board, we can destroy it, because the men who came in this ship did say that they had backup lying in wait somewhere.
What are you trying to accomplish? Like, you're trying to offer him the night flyer?
Yeah. I mean, we have our ship and we're about to get paid a bunch of money, and if we have to go back to like establish trade routes, then this is going to be a bitch. I feel like with two ships.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to make sure I understand your intent is all. You can make a charm check to see how that's going. Let me actually open the NPC's character sheet.
Yeah, this is not going to be good, you guys.
I just put so much into charm.
Did you do?
I guess I'm a little confused why we're offering him the ship we just stole.
Yeah, I don't know. It was an idea that I had so that they'd have some extra supply, like newer supplies, like right now, because it's going to take us a few days to, like, it's going to take us the better part of a week to go back, tell Riom what's going on, and then get back here with more supplies for these guys. Or actually, I don't even know if we have to come back. We just have to go and tell Riom what's going on, where they're at, and...
Do you want to roll this in the open, or do you want to roll your charm and I'll roll his cool?
I'll roll it in the open. I don't care. What's my...
Okay. So you're gonna make a charm check, and it is going to be 5 reds and a purple.
Holy shit! Are you serious? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't good.
Okay.
Well, this actually fits in line with Harsal's character, so it's going to work great. Harsal is going to say, No, I'm in no rush to get on a ship myself and leave. I have a base of operations that I need to run here. I am perfectly fine with the hired help, and he kind of gives one of those like open palm, like general gestures towards y'all, so that y'all know that y'all are, air quotes, the hired help. I'm perfectly fine with the hired help playing messenger back and forth and worrying about the Empire and the Rhodians and whoever else. I will continue to run things here, and especially now that I have IT3, we're going to set up a more efficient operation here. But you're not going to get me on a ship anytime soon.
Well, in relation to all of your newfound endeavors, I just wish you the best. That's going to be great. However, our job was to find you, see if you're still alive, and if you were, make sure that Riom knew that and come back with any treasure. So that's what we're going to do. And if we can send a message along the way, that would be great. But we can also help you uncover whatever treasure is in the vault. And actually, do you guys also, you said you have Kartala in your employ. Is she at your base of operations now?
Pause momentarily to, like, out of character, remind y'all weren't supposed to like load treasure up on the ship necessarily and meet. Remember, y'all are meeting on Raxus Prime, so y'all aren't going back to the Will. You're heading to Raxus Prime to meet at the junkyard, basically, and he He told you IT3 would give you coordinates and stuff like that. Y'all aren't necessarily expected to literally show up with like a ship full of gold bars. Y'all were supposed to make contact and bring back basically proof so that supply lines could be established. It was not expected that
Gotcha.
y'all got
Oh, we
from-
were going to be able to grab a chest or two for ourselves.
very possibly, yes.
Yeah,
What I'm
that's
saying
fine.
is, Riom did not expect y'all to put all of the loot from a banking clan frigate onto a YV 560.
It's less what he
Okay.
expected and more what we expected.
Yeah.
Oh, I completely understand that. I just wanted to make sure that as players,
No, that's
y'all understood that this was about finding the treasure and reporting back with proof,
Yeah,
showing up
that
with a
makes sense.
stamped gold bar and being like, we totally found the treasure of Inca, not showing up with the entire pyramid towing behind your car.
Well, in that case,
But-
that's even easier because we already have IT3 who has seen Harsal. We can just take him back.
Well, no,
yeah,
we can't.
everyone believes IT3.
Well, no, but Harsal literally just said that he wants to keep IT3. So IT3 is not coming back with us.
Well,
He's staying here and helping
that-
Harsal. So we got to get
Ended.
we have to get some sort of proof that Harsal is in fact alive, that we did find him, and that trade routes can be established.
If only
Okay.
the information IT3 had could be given to another droid or the
Yeah,
ship
I
or
know.
something.
I know.
Impossible.
I already just thought of that, and I was gonna get there. Okay, like fuck, man. Like let me fucking get there on my own a little bit. All right.
I also enjoyed the futuristic backwater Star Wars setting and the fact that, like, in 2018, where we don't have spaceships to do light travel, you could walk up and take a selfie with Harsal and call it a day. But y'all are currently like, how are we going to prove that we found this guy?
Actually, no.
think it
That's an even better idea. I actually could take a hologram recording of him in my
might as
data
well have
pad.
this whole conversation that we're having with him.
It's true.
I just find it interesting that he's so like he's been stranded here with these guys for so long and he's so chill about it. Like he doesn't even want to take a
Yeah,
break.
Gilligan doesn't want off the island.
He's used to
Uh,
it. This is his home now.
Like, you
Okay. Well,
you can give me whatever the frickin' Star Wars equivalent of an insight check is. I'm on an NPC sheet, so
I think that
oh my god, the character sheets. I forgot. It's been so long.
I would
Is
think
it
it'd be
vigilance?
a cunning. Yeah, it might be vigilance or like.
Yeah, just any will based a discipline maybe, or I'd take discipline or cunning if somebody wants to insight this, and I'll have to refresh myself on the Star Wars skills since we've not played in so very long.
Hey, but I have the book now.
I am so proud of you. You have the book now. I have the book too, and I need to read it more. Did anyone want to?
I need to read it at all.
It's true.
I
when you
haven't
say-
even
when you
taken
say
it out of the
cunning,
plastic
any
yet.
of the cunning ones?
Well, cunning is a specific skill.
Cunning is a
It is?
characteristic, an attribute.
Oh, I thought you were saying cunning is a skill.
Cunning is a habit. Sorry.
Sorry, I have to swap off an NPC to actually see the full
Oh
list
no,
of
you're
skills
fine.
because
It's
the
not a big deal.
NPC
It's really
sheet
not even
is
something
like
that needs to.
only combat related stuff. Give me a cool or a discipline.
Okay, how many purples?
You raise valid points. Call it 2 reds and a purple.
This guy is too cool for school, you guys. It's just...
Wow.
Nope.
Got
Little bit
some
of advantage,
advantages though.
Yeah. I'm kind of a little confused what I was rolling that for, just to see like what he's all about,
Well,
like why he's so fine with just staying
think
here.
back to D&D how you would do insight to get like a, is this guy bullshitting and stuff like this.
Okay.
I took your question to be like, it's odd that he doesn't immediately want to get on a starship and escape the planet. So I was giving you a
Yeah,
chance
okay.
to like insight to be like, is he lying? Is he, is he cautiously whatever? Based on that role, in general, you can get the sense he likes being in charge,
Mhm.
A, and B, just your intelligence would remind you that he is very much a wanted criminal and doesn't necessarily need to be out in the open, especially since suddenly people are showing up. So interest may be rising, especially if not just Riom, but these damn Rhodian guys were able to get here. So
Okay.
anyone of average intelligence could kind of guesstimate that, like, he needs to be ready for the storm to come, not stuck in hyperspace travel, like just playing messenger. As he said, like, he's in command. He needs to be making plans and making sure that stuff is set up, not running around being the messenger.
Got it. Okay. Well, what do you guys think? Should we, and I'm talking to like the whole group when I say that. Is it Captain Harsal? I mean, are you planning on, I assume you came over here to investigate what was going on with all of these people here, since it's been 20 years. Have you
Well,
had,
we
go ahead.
received the beacon, and when we got the beacon, we came immediately. I wasn't at all expecting to see IT3's beacon, let alone 20 years later. But as soon as we got his beacon, we packed up and headed over. We certainly were not expecting to show up in the aftermath of what seems like a skirmish, but exciting nonetheless.
Okay. Well, it would probably benefit all of us if we checked the Rhodian ship to make sure nobody else is following us here.
Knock yourself out.
I'll handle that. Well, everyone else decides what we're planning on doing. Captain Harsal, if you would be so kind as to perhaps provide us with a holographic message of some sort for Riom so that he knows you're alive and we can continue on as planned.
He will reach up and he's going to rip off a pair of like dog tags. I'm sure you've seen in the movies and stuff the Star Wars equivalent. It's not like stamped metal. It's actually electronic in nature. And he will take off one of them and he'll kind of chuck it to whoever's closest. Keep in mind, y'all aren't where your tokens actually are. Y'all are having a conversation.
Right.
But he'll chuck that and say, sure, I'll do your recording or whatever, especially if it'll help seal the deal with Riom. Having not dealt with him, only Ropak, I want to make sure that this goes over flawlessly. So whatever it takes, that should suffice.
All right, sounds good. Sam is going to head over to the ship and start investigating it.
In the
For-
meantime, since y'all are going to be spending some time here, the battle droids and the two Aqualish will disembark, and Harsal had already climbed down. The battle droids are going to kind of, we're going to say two of them, and the Aqualish kind of stick near Harsal. The other ones carry out in classic B1 kind of fashion, and they don't get near your ship or the new ship, the Night Flyer, but they do kind of give a sweep of the area, and you catch one of them kind of kicking one of the dead Rhodians in that, like, is this guy alive kind of testing kick, and then saunter off through the woods and stuff like that. They give a sweep of the area over the next 10-15 minutes and all kind of mingle back over towards Harsal. Sam, you said you were getting on the Night Flyer. I know y'all had some time after the combat before Harsal got here to kind of give a quick walkthrough of the Night Flyer. What is it you were looking for specifically?
I want to run diagnostics on the ship, look for recent comms that might have happened between them and somebody else. They said they had backup, so I'm looking to see if they actually do or if they were just bluffing. And I also want to see if their ship has any form of tracker or whatever on it that somebody else could be following them, or if they have like a beacon or something like that that somebody else could be following at the moment.
So we'll say in the 20 minutes that the battle droids take to do their sweep, you get on the ship and you do that. Since the jump off of the trade route, the ship has not made any kind of like beacon. It hasn't broadcast its location. It did send communication out. I'd have to look at actual technology to see whether you would be able to replay that transmission. We're just winging it at this point to say that once it got once it got to Chogana, it has sent out transmissions over the last 2 days, here and there, not constantly, but it is not currently, like it doesn't have a tracking beacon currently blipping every few seconds to send signal to lure anybody here kind of thing. So they were talking to other people, but they're not a beacon saying, hey, come here.
Okay, all right. But the fact that they had communications means that they could have given at least some coordinates here and there.
It's
All
very
right.
possible that once they got where they were coming to, I mean, it could have been anything from, hi, honey, I love you, we just got to the jungle, I'm sure it'll be fine, to, yeah, there those assholes are, we're going to go down there and show them what for.
Right.
Way to humanize them. They had families and.
Now that we slaughtered them all.
I'm still totally okay with the fact that we slaughtered them all.
You can update their Twitter, I guess. Jimbo is not going to be posting anymore.
I take a selfie with one of them and then fucking find his
No.
Twitter account and be like, yeah, he did.
Oh boy,
All
RPGs.
right, anyway.
I did take Harsel's dog tag and put it in my smuggler's trench coat.
Sure.
That's hidden. Just in case,
Alright.
because if he doesn't want it to be found, we don't want him to be found either. It's more profitable for us if we're not caught.
Sure. Over there, like I said, it's kind of a 20-minute ordeal of the droids sweeping the area, but 2 of them stick there with Harsal and the 2 Aqualish as well. And they kind of chatter among themselves, and Harsal's there if anyone has any questions over the next 20 minutes or so. What are the rest of y'all doing while he runs night flyer diagnostics and whatnot?
Yeah, I actually would like to talk with Harsal, but if anybody wants to do anything else first.
I'll just help him go over the ship, make sure it's mechanically sound and all that.
It seems like they may have taken a ding or 2 in the asteroid field as well, but other than that, the ship is fully functional.
That is such good news.
Yep. I'm not gonna give you your broken ship. It's a ship.
That's all you're
Woohoo!
Feel free to. I will make a character sheet for it, and y'all can put in fucking hiccups. Y'all can put in the details for YV 2400. You said you had questions for Halsar, or you just wanted to talk to him, or whatever. What you got?
Yeah, I kind of just want to chat with him a little bit. So I'll kind of like walk up to him and everybody's kind of doing their own thing, and I'll just say to him, so you've been here for 20 years. That's a long time. And how did you guys end up crashing on this planet?
I assure you, the 20 years has been longer for me than it has been for you. Yes. We sustained damage before the jump to the outer rim, so we needed to come out of we needed to come out of light speed, hyperspace, whatever the fuck it is in Star Wars. Too many sci-fi shows lately. We cut out of our jump a little too early and unfortunately entered the nebula, which, based on the time of year, I'm sure y'all encountered when you got here as well. And the ship was immediately bombarded with the asteroids and stuff from the nebula. If you've been on board the wreck, I'm sure you've seen it totally fried all the sensors and electronics.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the frying pan and into the fire on that one. Just before our jump, several Star Destroyers had entered the system we were in, and we, like I said, we took heavy damage and did not need to come out of light speed into an asteroid field and a sensor disruption field. So we kind of skipped across the atmosphere, and it was a none too easy landing here. The ship ended up breaking into 3 major pieces, but debris field is scattered across this valley and into the mountains beyond.
Got it. Yeah. And you've obviously had some encounters with local wildlife.
Cholgana is not what I would call a hospitable place.
Hospitable.
We set up camp here at the ship early on, but the jungle is full of all sorts of interesting things, both day and night, and so it very quickly became clear that we needed to set up somewhere more defensible, as well as not wanting to be directly adjacent to the ship should anyone come looking for it. So we did what we can to disguise the ship itself, and we found a more fortifiable place, which once we are wrapped up with any business y'all have here, we're going to be heading back to kind of make sense of this whole situation and figure out where we need to go from here.
And were the cybernetic Nexu Kratala's handiwork?
Oh, did y'all find those?
We sure did. Yeah, it
The
almost took us out, actually.
the Nexu by themselves are a force to be reckoned with, but one quick way to make sure that no one spends too long searching the main wreck itself is that pack of Nexu roaming the halls. So I wouldn't say she even has full control of him, and he kind of like subconsciously nurses his cheek almost, like he almost reaches for that scar. But they're certainly interesting to watch. I'll give them that.
Well, we managed to take down 2 of them, but one is definitely still at large.
Oh, I think there's a couple more than that.
How many did she make?
And he kind of thinks for a second. There were at least 4 in the beginning. I haven't been back to the ship myself in some time. I don't think she's applied her craft to any Nexu lately. But there should be, if you took out 2, there should be at least 2 more lurking around in there.
Oh, good to know. Now, in your opinion, do you think we'll have to go back there to do any salvaging, or are we going to be going somewhere else entirely to help you out?
A reminder that y'all can like see the hill of the Hulk from here, and he'll point over and be like, back there to the main Hulk. Yeah, that's where the vault is. Anything left to be salvaged from the ship is going to be from there. We've got basically anything we could from the engines. They're off in the water and much more worse for wear. The main hull itself, several of the lower floors are flooded and sealed off, either from wreckage or just sheer bad luck. But once we are able to have proper tools, cutters, droids, and other equipment, we can certainly set about to cutting a hole directly to where we need to get.
Well, I don't envy the person that has to tell Riom about his father, but I do think he'll be pleased with the success of finding you and being able to set up this trade route. Are you sure that you don't want to come back at least to that area and meet with him directly? It might help smooth things over and help you guys get started.
Oh, I don't think I need to do any smoothing over with Riom.
Maybe even
He-
just for a hot shower. It's been that long.
Are you saying he stinks?
I'm just standing right next to him, that's all.
Downwind, even.
Ooh.
Uh,
I mean, how is
Nope.
his appearance? Does he look like he's pretty like tattered? And I mean, he's got the scar, but is his like clothing all faded and worn? It's been 20 years, so I can't imagine he'd have access to like
think like
creature comforts.
Yeah, think like paramilitary gear. Like he has,
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, you know, the TIE fighter pilots. They have that like black flight suit almost. He has that on, and you notice that the Aqualish, like they're not wearing their clothes from 20 years ago. Think about what happens to clothes over 5 years of wear, let alone 20 years in the jungle. The other two guys totally have like makeshift stuff that has been fashioned living here in the jungle, despite their sexy tokens. Parsal has like a 20-year-old pair of coveralls on, and he's got some beaten electronics in like that thing that Leela from Futurama has on her arm. He has, you know, like a data pad on his arm, but like you're not even sure his Pip-Boy is working, kind of. And then, like I said, he has like a blast vest from the Clone Wars, but all of the stuff he's wearing, it looks like he's been wearing it day in and day out, sweating his balls off, hiking through the jungle for 20 years. And
Okay. Well, in light of all this, after taking a drinking it all in, I mentioned to him that you could come back with us just for a little while, and you're gonna be a very rich man, clearly, and you may enjoy a little bit of the finer things in life since it's been 20 years since you've apparently been able to shower.
this is the third time you've tried to get him to come back with you.
Ooh.
I can roll a charm. I'm waiting for you to ask me to roll something.
Sure. Roll a charm. 5 reds and a purple.
You can do it.
Thought it might make it a little easier,
You have 1 light side point.
but
That actually
Man.
wasn't bad considering
it
5 reds.
really
That-
wasn't. I was
that
I was
was
closer.
The fact that you did not fail is amazing.
Well done.
Does he at least like me a little more now?
He can appreciate your tenacity.
Good-natured. Okay. All right. That's fine. I would like to ask him how many survivors there are.
That is a good question that the book totally tells me, and we're going to pretend that he tells you that right now while I go look for it.
Okay.
Talk
Cool.
amongst yourselves.
All right. What do you think, honey?
I'm in the ship.
Fine. I don't yell at you. Whatever. I'm looking at our screen, like, keep thinking I forgot. We have to imagine where everybody is.
I'm also in the ship. Because where else would I be?
Yeah, I kind of figured you would be.
Getting
Me and
real
Honey
familiar
Bunches.
with that
Helping me
cockpit.
out here, guys.
Me and Honey Bunches are just doing all the diagnostics, making sure the ship's in working
Talking
order.
about your bromance.
You have
Mhm.
Zamira, and she's a real talker. So
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just standing there watching him,
Alright.
trying not to smell him. It's fun.
Zamira, what are you gonna do with your cut of the treasure once we get paid?
Gamble.
Other than
Yeah,
gambling.
gamble.
Last time we talked
Holy
about
made
whole
like
four
$3 last time.
gamble, and then you have to take another job like this, huh?
It happens.
Yeah, you win some, you lose some.
I do love the image that like the whole time we've been talking, Samira's just standing there with her arms crossed, that fucking axe in her hands, just like, somebody, I dare you to fucking do something.
That's funny.
Fucking love it.
So, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, I've returned from reading.
Mhm.
Did you miss me?
Yes.
always.
Harsal's going to be pointedly evasive about the question, but he is going to say, we've got at least 30 or so folks and a small contingent of what's left of our battle droids. We lost lots of them in the crash, but we have managed to keep enough running over the years to protect the settlement and deal with any threats should we be found.
Okay, and we're headed to the base now. As soon as we're
I was gonna see what you had to say since we almost interrupted each other. And if you didn't have anything, yeah, he wants to go to the base.
all right. Other than the Nexu and various wildlife, do you guys feel relatively okay leaving our ships here for now while we go to their base? Actually, Captain Harsal, is there a place for us to land our ships?
Near the settlement, we purposely picked a location that, at current, there is nowhere immediately adjacent to land, not just one, but two ships. And I don't want anyone running off just yet, so perhaps you could lock the ships. If you had like some sort of garage door type thing, you could like turn the alarm on, and we're gonna go for a walk.
Oh,
In fact, we'll travel along the river. You can either skirt the river as well, or a few of you might be able to fit in our boats.
One
That's
problem
canon
with
now.
that plan is that we only have one garage door opener and we have two ships.
you can fashion it. It took you like 15 minutes last time, right?
I can fashion one for the night flyer.
I'm sure you could turn
Yeah,
on
there you
the
go.
Viper alarm of the night flyer. It might take you and anybody with the decent computers or mechanics a few minutes to like, reset the code on the alarms and everything, so to speak, on the night flyer.
Are we
Yeah.
relatively sure that no one's coming after the night flyer for now? I mean, they
Yeah.
did have communication.
Clarification. So, logically speaking, there's been no like, hey, come help us message sent. But, if your buddy doesn't call back after 24 hours, you might start wondering.
Oh,
So,
we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Well, that's
Actually,
much
no,
better
that's a
than, because
good
I was
idea.
expecting like Sam was gonna hold a Rhodian up in front of a thing and be like, oh, everything's good down here.
Weekend at Bernie's.
It's fine. Everything's
Oh my
fine.
god! Oh my
Wait,
god!
his
No,
arm.
I'm
We're-
doing it now.
Yeah,
I'm doing
going
it now.
in-
I'm doing it now. I'm doing it now.
I'm gonna
I
lose
walk
you.
out of the ship.
We're going into a tunnel.
I walk out of the ship. I walk out of the ship and I grab one of the Rhodian's bodies and I drag it back to the ship. I'm doing this now. It's happening.
Gotta do,
I like watching you
everything's
drag
under
the body.
control. We had a slight weapons malfunction. Everything's perfectly fine.
We're all fine
All
here.
fine here
How are you?
now.
How are you?
Ah,
Y'all are nerds.
All right, so I take
I'm
the
just
Rhodian
gonna
into
make
the
this
ship.
clear. You're gonna hold up a corpse and send out a message
No.
saying,
So
we also
what I'm
need to
gonna
like
do
smear Vaseline over
is
the lens.
I'm going to I would obscure the lens just a little bit. If anything, what I'll do is I'll make it to where it looks like the transmission's coming in a little fuzzy, if I can finagle that mechanic wise.
you
Quick,
take a
somebody
crowbar
shake
to
the
radar dish.
brabbiters.
No. I just mean like to make the communications a little fuzzy.
I think if you turn on the stove and the microwave at the same time.
Anyway,
I guess
so
you
what
could
I'm going
also
to
like
do,
record it and
I'm
then
actually gonna weekend at Bernie's this. I'm gonna
Yeah.
set up a series of pulleys and like tie ropes to him and fucking stand behind him.
I 100% endorse this plan.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Don't worry about it.
There are no rules for this. I don't care how many Star Wars books you read. Nowhere in there are there going to be like, so if your party decides to set a dead Rhodian in the cockpit and set up a system of levers and pulleys to Weekend and Bernie's send a bad signal transmission.
I do sort of feel like you brought this on yourself, Seal. Just a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, just a little bit. I have to. Yeah, so I set him up in the chair, and crap.
Oh no.
Do I speak Rhodian? That's actually a good.
That was going to be my first question. Is one, do you speak Rhodian? And two, I need to know exactly what you say, and I need you to role play it out. Like no out of character like summarizing this. You need to record the message for us.
Okay.
Rhodian.
All right. That's fine. I'm a droid. I know a lot
Droid,
of
I'm
languages.
sure you do the thing.
All right. Yeah. So I set it up. But nothing too elaborate because he's supposed to be flying the ship, right? So like nothing too elaborate. He's just kind of like if he has to move, he barely moves a little bit. Like just like he's like hitting buttons and dials and shit.
Okay. Cell phone call while
And
driving.
so okay. So I'll send the transmission out to the last known. The last place the transmission was sent. And
Sure.
okay, hang on. Give me a second. Let me think about exactly what I'm gonna say.
I want to make
this
the
is
joke
going
like
from
there's going to be
funny-
a really confused Papa John somewhere.
This is going from funny to like kind of scary. Because what if they're like, oh, they're responding now. We need to go pick them up or something.
New phone, who dis?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh yeah,
I wonder if we could record it and not send it. Like just have it ready on the line just in case. And then we could always come back from wherever Harsel's thing is and
yeah. I mean,
I want the record to show that y'all did not discuss this at all with Harsal. Like,
yeah,
Harsal's
Sam just
standing there
started
talking to
dragging a
Taylor,
corpse into the
and all of a sudden a robot stomps off the ship, grabs a corpse, and drags it around on the ship.
I kind of like move with them to block their view, like block Harsal's view as they're dragging a body onto the ship.
It's
I'm
that
like,
bad
"That's
movie
fine."
scene where he kind of leans past you and you like step
Yes.
to block the view.
step. Don't worry about. Don't listen. Don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain. All right. So I'll send the message out. Let's see. Oh God, what am I gonna say? All right. Continuing surveillance on the ship. God damn it! No. They wouldn't know the name of our ship though. Continuing surveillance on the Isotech ship. Have found it landing in several different places, but we're too nervous to engage at this time. They seem to have more crew members than we thought. We'll get back to you shortly.
Okay. Do you hit send or are you saving it?
I'm saving it for now.
Okay. On you or
Can
on
I
the
roll a
ship?
performance?
Good call.
You can certainly roll.
I wish there was a performance check I could do. I really wish that there was a performance check I could do.
I mean, let's call it
No.
cool.
Oh no! Please don't do it. Please not cool. Anything but cool.
Okay, so we're leaving with her.
Deception
Whatever.
then.
It's a shitty message. We might not have to send it. It's fine. It's fine.
Roll-
It's
roll-
hilarious. It's
Just roll
so
deception, and
worth
we're gonna, just for shits and gigs, call it 2 reds, 2 purples.
Oh boy, this is gonna be bad, you guys.
And that doesn't necessarily mean you fail. I just need to know how bad your performance was. Fucking hiccups.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It could have been worse.
Yeah, remember you didn't hit send. You have recorded your speech to upload to class, and like on playback, like you think there's some things you could do maybe a little bit better, but your accent. You feel your accent was really on point. You don't spend too much time speaking Rhodian, but you feel you got the proper nuances down at least. Also roll a D100.
Oh god.
Question for
Mm-hmm.
the mechanics
Oh no.
of the group.
Noted.
Oh no. It could be good. The 9.
Could be fine.
Is there any way for us to somehow patch into their communications, and then if they were to get some sort of message, could we see it on our comms? Is that asking way too
You
much?
Call forwarding from the ship?
Basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean,
I am not sure on that. We have totally just been like winging
Yeah,
it on
winging
all
it.
technology in this game. So like we're definitely rule
You
of
would
cooling
think.
basically everything.
You're saying
But-
they don't have hard rules on Star Wars technology?
Right.
No.
I'm gonna say that based on my extensive knowledge of the Star Wars movies, though, I have never once seen anyone like get call forwarding from their ship. Normally, fucking Obi-Wan is calling Qui-Gon to be like, "They just called." Blah 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 blah. Metachlorians.
I'm pretty sure at some point someone has
man.
stolen a ship and they've still been able to patch through to talk to someone else. Like,
Actually, yeah, it happened in episode 2, as a matter of fact. Obi-Wan sent a transmission to Tatooine, and then they sent the transmission to Coruscant.
But
Oh
did
my
the
God,
ship
we're
do
all
But
it?
they
nerds.
still
Did
Yeah,
an
they
they
Astra
still
did it.
droid?
access.
They were on their ship whenever they did it. They were on that weird fucking Naboo like silver ship or whatever. Amidala's ship.
But it wasn't really call forwarding.
Yeah,
Like
you were.
C-3PO was on the ship to answer, and he recorded it to send on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like nobody has called the
It's
ship.
technicalities.
Nobody has called an empty
whose side
ship.
are you on?
Everyone calls and is like, "Hey R2, send a message. You know, send more mimosas."
Well, guys, just putting this out there. There's a good reason why I made my character a droid.
droid.
There's a good reason behind it.
Okay,
you can
well,
stay on the ship?
either way, I just thought it might help us out if they do end up sending a message. We would be able to know, but we can just make sure that within 24 hours we get back to our ships to double check everything and probably be fine.
Yeah, I think we should.
Of course, now that I
Yeah.
say that, it's like famous last words.
I'm gonna go ahead and say no on call forwarding, especially considering
Okay.
you got 2 ships, a garage door
Yeah, it's
opener,
totally
and
fine.
all kinds of fucking bullshit at this point.
I will go on ahead. I will go on ahead and reset all the alarm passwords for this ship and lock it on our way out.
00000.
Mhm.
No, I'll fucking send it to something that I'll remember.
Okay. I don't know if that means you won't remember 00000. Real talk though.
It's his birthday.
If it
his
works for
first
Kanye.
pet.
Yeah, I was gonna say real talk though. Let's not bring politics into this, but Kanye opening his phone is totally a gif on the internet now of him typing in his passcode of 00000 in the fucking Oval Office.
That's great.
100%, no exaggeration.
That's funny.
I mean, he also is a gay fish, so you know, I mean, you got to give him some credit.
Bringing it way back.
He likes
I
fish
lost
sticks.
that. Yeah, you lost me on that one.
It's a South
South
Park
Park.
episode from like a long time
Okay.
ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
All right.
if it's cool with you guys, I really, really want to ride on a Lapras, like really bad.
Shotgun.
Okay.
I'll walk, even though I'm probably sparking in all kinds of different places.
Okay.
No, it's totally fine. It's totally
Question.
fine. Right on the damn Lapras.
You could ride on my lap.
I'm a fucking droid. I don't even know how much I weigh. Like a lot, probably.
Oh, would you like sink the Lapras? Because in that case,
I don't know, but I'm made entirely of metal, so
I turned to Captain Harsall and do you have any ways of like first aid? You know, I mean, this has to be a lot very common out here in this jungle where you know you need to heal people or possibly droids.
We have rudimentary supplies, but things are beginning to run a little thin. It's one of the first things we'll be taking care of once we establish, relations with Isotech, is to get in supplies to fortify the settlement, as well as fresh bodies, medicine, food supplies. You know, those sorts of things are going to come
The
before
standard.
attempting to ship cybernetics across the galaxy.
Okay. Do you have any currently sick, injured, or dying people that you'd like us to take out with us?
You
Or
mean
even old.
off-world?
Mm-hmm.
That was me asking. Because you said,
Yeah,
do you
like-
have any
like when
sick or
we
dying
leave.
people you need us to take out? I was
Wait, what?
nothing.
Did I say something wrong? Sorry.
No. I was making sure I understood you because do you have any sick or dying people you need us to take out? Take out.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean,
She
I
says,
guess.
gently rubbing her gun.
I was making a joke. I'm sorry, I confused you.
No, it's totally fine. I get it now.
Um,
That's hilarious. I meant more like helping them, but if you really do want us to just get rid of them.
I'm sure that more than enough people will want to get on the first ship that they can
Be
off the
evacuated.
planet.
Okay. All right.
That's going to be between Kratala and I when we get back. Obviously, I don't want to have to pick favorites, and I don't want everyone to immediately jump on the first ship and flee at the first sign of
Yeah,
the chance.
but also,
So,
you know, it's been
I'd
20
be-
years. They paid their dues.
you know,
Okay, all right. I keep my thoughts to myself for that now. I'm cool with
Arsala is
leaving.
noting that you've tried to get him off the planet 3 times and are now trying to get his people off the planet.
It's almost like we're here to rescue them.
Just trying to be helpful.
I mean, are you though?
Just trying to be
We
helpful.
clearly have an agenda.
Get them away from the treasure by
Yes.
rescuing them.
Okay, that was not what I was going for, but just trying to be a nice person.
He's kind of, like I said, he's very, you get that like ex-military barking orders, and like the moment that you
Job
start
has to be
coming up
done.
with, he's the kind, you get the feeling he's the kind of person that if you come up with an idea, the fact that it's your idea, even if like it was something he was going to do, the fact that you would be seen as the savior by showing up with a ship and be like, does anyone need a ride? Like he kind of immediately, anytime you're bringing up these sorts of things, he kind of really shuts you down and is like, no,
Okay.
we're going to do this, and we'll do it on my timeline. You get like those kind of, he is a very condescending and bossy kind of person.
Great. Good thing I don't have problems with
Something-
authority.
Yeah, well, I will direct you to the 5 reds and a purple.
Is that how it's gonna be? Really?
I'm just saying, like, you have system mechanical indication of him being a very, like,
Yeah. Difficult.
fucking difficult person to deal with.
All
But,
right, Captain Harsall, we are ready to go.
So is everybody on boats, or is some folks going to stick to the shore?
Hell yeah, I'm on a boat.
I guess
On the boat.
I'll stick to the shore because you said there wasn't enough room for everybody.
Well, there's some working can be done. If one person's going to stick to the shore, and at least one person's going to stick to the shore, a battle droid or 2 will get off the boats to like walk with you. So, like, there's some
Sam-
flex here.
That works for me.
Sam like tries to sit on Tallie's lap while I have a seat all to myself.
All right.
Personal space.
So, to the base. Any last words?
The base.
I mean, y'all can talk to him and stuff while you go, but like, last chance to run to the ship and, you know, get your phone charger or whatever.
I think we're
Okay.
okay. I guess I'll say that I did drop off the stuff that we looted from Yav's body.
On
our
your ship? Okay.
Yeah, that way I'm not lugging it around, and
Sure.
everybody can pick through it and pick over it if whatever they want.
And I also want it to be known that I still have the survival kit in my backpack. Just for
Ah,
the record.
yes.
Y'all got dragged to a new map, right?
Hmm.
Well, I mean, a map you've been on before, but now you can actually see it.
Yeah.
Yay!
Okay.
Huzzah.
So y'all can see the main hull. Deal with the fact that everything's sideways because Roll20 has a wider screen than it is tall, but whatever. So y'all poked through the engine and didn't really find too much except that one closet that had stuff in it. But Harsall has basically agreed with the fact that there is not much at all in there these days. The main ship does have stuff to be looted still, but it is in sealed off, either flooded or crushed or otherwise currently inaccessible with technology on hand, being that you have like 20-year-old battle droids and a crowbar. But yeah, you guys are going to be heading all the way here. So it is going to be a little bit of a trek. Not too bad though. Not too bad. The Lapparai, remember they were called Revos. For anyone that knows their Star Wars creatures, they're gonna stick to the bank basically. Try and stay under the shade from the trees and stuff. But y'all are able to, anyone that's on foot, navigate along the. There is a very narrow, especially in here, spot, but you can on foot make it to where you're going. So we're gonna have a travel montage, but I just want y'all to see overland what we're dealing with here. Feel free to make conversation with everybody, including the battle droids, as you go. Does anyone do anything particular on the journey? Have any particular questions? Try to like start a fight with a tree octopus?
How long does it take again?
It would take about 30 minutes if everybody was on the boats, but since a couple of folks are walking, it's going to increase it to about an hour, we'll say. I should make the droid do climb checks for the rough part. But we'll call it about an hour. So remember, this was about noonish when he got there, putting it at leaving about 1:30ish, the equivalent of 1:30ish, we'll call it, which means y'all would be getting to the retreat early afternoon, like heat of the day.
Okay.
You do see many signs of jungle wildlife. It is very clear that even down here in the valley, these trees and stuff with you are not somehow devoid of the life of the main jungle. Those that stood watch the night before, remember y'all saw Nexu and stuff like that. There are indications that there were, you see footprints of both Nexu and other unidentified, at least so far, animals in the soil for those of you on land. For those of you in the boat, as you're traveling along, you'll see like the tree octopus guys that you met, the arboreal octopus. It looks like they hang in the low branches above the water, and they kind of let their tentacles dangle down into the water. And you'll actually even see one or two of them that like are in the process of catching a fish, and the moment that it like sees y'all or hears y'all coming, it will like reel its fish and all of its tentacles up, and then kind of activate that camouflage mechanism that y'all encountered before. So the jungle is full of life.
Mm-hmm.
But if nobody does anything super squirrely or, starts a gunfight or anything crazy, in about an hour 15 minutes, y'all will reach the retreat.
While we're floating, I would like to ask Harsel, so has anyone else ever landed in the area or tried to search the ship, or have you ever gotten any other beacons in the last 20 years?
In the stuff that I've read in preparation for this session, I saw nothing about previous encounters. I reserve the right to retcon that at any point, but currently Harsal tells you that y'all are the first to find the ship. He will say, I've gone through great lengths to make sure that if somebody found the wreck while we were not there, because it's one of the main reasons we set our settlement so far away. We were much more concerned with pirates and looters than we were thinking that Isotech would just get lucky and find us. So we purposely moved to a more defensible position once we were able. and have made ourselves much harder to locate, both from the river and from the air. And I went through great steps to make sure that anyone that happened upon either the engine section or the main ship itself was met with enough of a challenge that they were either dealt with or didn't come back. In the time we've been here, we've not seen any indications of ships landing or camps being made at the ship, though.
Okay.
Asterisk.
Has anyone from your party branched out? Have they tried leaving the retreat to try to go find help, or maybe try to find a way off the planet?
You would know that Cholgana is like super uninhabited. Like, you're not gonna find a village or town.
Okay.
I think we covered this back on the wheel. I don't think y'all did too much. Like, let me Google up Cholgana real quick. So I gave you like very basic information, but like
Jungle.
jungle of Africa, like once in a while somebody might come here to do big game hunting, or a Trandoshan or a Wookiee might come here as a like show their might by beating the shit out of a Nexu and bringing it back, either as a trophy or for the the gladiator fight, like in episode 2, like that kind of stuff. But like, nobody has built a town here. It is totally a trip to the Congo,
Okay.
bongo bongo bongo, and then back.
And so nobody's really tried to branch out or anything. How has morale been at the? 20 years, that's a long time, or a lot of people.
He's gonna kind of bristles, not the right word. What's the good word there? He gets cold almost, and he kind of like dryly responds, "Oh, I'm sure you'll see the state of morale soon enough." And that's about the time that y'all come up off the shore, and you're gonna have to you'll see that there's a fork in the river near where you're going. So you head down the east fork a little bit, and there's a small landing where it's clear that the Revos this is where they go in and out of the river. And then you kind of have to go up a cliff to get to where the retreat is. It is butted up against the main cliff of the valley, but it is all uphill from the river. So if you're on the river, like as y'all are getting out of the river, you do not even see the fort at all. So you're very much having to be led where you're going, because you don't have that like, there's the village on the horizon, or come around the bend and see it kind of movie moment. Like, it's in the trees against a cliff so that it can't be seen from river or air. So you're gonna make your way up this like steep hill, and as you emerge from the thick foliage, you see a rocky bluff towering many meters above you. There's a wide cleared area in front of the bluffs, and a formidable wall has been made of tree trunks and starship hull plating, and it curves outward towards you. There are 2 tall sentry towers evenly spaced along the length, and the entire retreat is built into an enormous alcove in the bluff. Captain Harsal guides you to one of the 2 large gates. So you can see on the actual map of the little town down here, you guys are going to be coming in this gate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But I'm going to request, especially since I've been doing a lot of talking and hiccuping, that we take a quick 5-minute break for some water.
I like this
Alrighty.
plan.
We've been playing like an hour and a half. 5-minute break.
Woohoo!
Already? Okay, minute break.
Feel free to talk amongst yourself and stuff, but I needs water. I am back.
Welcome back.
Did everyone have a great 5 minutes?
Was it a full 5
Yes,
minutes?
indeed.
I don't know. I didn't
Ready.
count. Check the tapes.
Wait, what's happening?
I haven't heard Corey complain about something I've done in 30 seconds, so I don't know if he's back.
What? As long as you're not making puns, I'm kind of okay.
Yeah. I haven't made any puns tonight. I made the one bit of wordplay about the, like, you need me to take them out?
I kind of did one a little bit, but
Yeah, you did. Do you remember what it was?
better late than never.
Yeah. There's like a weird spot on the map right there.
Hmm.
All right. So if everyone's back, y'all kind of come up the hill, like I said, and you see the thing's been the fort has been built kind of against the cliff, and or against the bluff rather. And there's like a you can both see it on the big map and on the little map. They kind of started in the crevasse and cleared out the trees as needed, and they built a fence out of both tree trunks buried in the ground and reinforced with like plating from the ship. So you know that they made lots and lots of trips back to the both the sections to bring pieces, because there's pieces that are clearly from the engine section and from the main section. And then there's several small huts, but there's also a couple of more metal-ish buildings that have been built out of pieces of the ship. And a basketball court. It's probably a starship landing pad, but you know.
Gotta stay fit.
Yeah, it's like prison
If that's
rules.
if that's a starship landing pad, I hate you so much right now because we could have
Yeah.
just taken the
Could
ship.
have landed there.
He very much told you that there wasn't one.
Sneaky bastard.
But he also specifically said, I don't want anyone getting on their ship and taking off, so y'all are coming with me.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Harsal's a dick, and the droid is a dick, so whatever. But the group of you are going to be directed towards the large metal and wood building that's crafted from salvaged starship pieces, as well as some local material. And, you know, it's built kind of like the perimeter wall there. And there's going to be a crowd of just about 30 folks and probably a few droids that kind of gather as a bunch of new people enter the town. You know, it's the first new people they've seen in 20 years. So humanoids of various sizes and shapes, mostly humans, a couple of other Aqualish, a few Duros, pattering of random races. Most of the droids are, you know, just like the B1 battle droids that are with you, in that they are bits and pieces of several B1s, but also clearly some parts from other droids or from the ship being stuck onto them. But there are probably at least a half dozen or so astromech droids kind of truddling through the dirt and mud, and a few other various separatist droids as well. But so a crowd kind of gathers, and, you know, mouth agape, kind of like, oh, murmurs of like, oh man, new people and stuff. But then as you get close to them, they're going to kind of part. And you notice that they're all dressed in patchwork clothing, and, you know, a lot of them are wearing primitive skins, and you recognize a few like Nexu hide items, and maybe we'll call it 3 or 4 people have what you would consider to be their actual uniforms and stuff on. and they're all beaten and tethered like Harsalls.
Is one of the buildings like a jungle gap that just makes all this clothing for everybody?
When you're divvying out jobs and you have 20 years of nothing to fucking do because you signed on to do like cybernetic smuggling and you're instead stuck on like octopi barbecuer and Nexu cake maker.
Yeah, right.
Like,
That's funny.
the jungle gap wasn't seeing the business it needed and had to close down, but Pac Sun is still there.
Back sense still, yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, I feel like they're more like Tilly's, but I don't know if that's as universal.
I was
Good
gonna
old
say
Tilly.
there's like a rundown Aeropostale in the corner.
Oh
somewhere.
man,
It's
bringing it way back.
I know, right? Yeah.
Speaking of hot topics, though,
Nice.
as you pass the crowd, you're going to hear the expected questions and whispers of curiosity. And Harsal's pointedly ignoring basically everybody and heading straight to
Wow.
the center building there. And one person like you can do it kind of guy from the back of the crowd is going to be like, so Harsal, why aren't they dead yet? Have you gone soft? And Harsal's going to pause and like spin on his heel and fires back. Could be things change. Could be that things around here are changing for the better. Tell Kratala to get over here and we'll all find out together. The rest of you follow us inside.
How
Woohoo.
exciting.
Are we the rest of you?
Team meeting.
Yay!
Go team, go.
Go team, go. You get the feeling he was talking about like the entire anyone interested, not just the six
Village.
of y'all or whatever.
So he was talking directly to me.
basically. You are basically the only person who matters right now.
Right now? You mean ever?
Whoever is nearby me, I'd like to whisper to my friends here. So the way that guy asked if we were dead yet kind of makes me wonder if there have been other people here before. And he was kind of brushing me off earlier because it seems like if there had been other people here before trying to loot, they killed them? Question mark? So let's just keep that in mind. He's not a very pleasant guy. I've been trying to talk to him all day.
He's a real dick.
Jeez.
But at least he smells nice.
Right? Oh, Kodo.
Oh, Kodo.
For all I know, he does smell nice. I do not have smell receptors. At least not yet.
We could fix that.
Be thankful.
I think they have one down at Jungle Radio Shack.
I was just
Oh,
about to
no.
ask if there was like a fucking jungle
Radio
fucking
Shack.
Office Depot or some shit.
No, it's Staples.
Oh god.
But there's just one guy in there, and he's only making staples out of pieces of the ship.
And then you'll walk in and you go, Staples? And they'll go, yeah, we've got that.
So the captain's going to lead you into this large central room. There's several enormous tree trunks holding up a 2-story ceiling that's made out of wood, starship plating, and the occasional window. Several primitive doors appear to lead into other chambers, and then there's hand-fashioned lamps that add to the natural light streaming in from the skylights. Like, it's not skylights so much as it is either Durasteel or what is the fucking windows made out of?
Plexiglass?
No, there's a word for it in Star Wars.
Yeah, I
Oh.
forget.
We'll come back
Durasteel?
to it.
Yes, the window's made of Durasteel.
Yeah, Harsal leads all of you up to like there's kind of a stage at one end of the room. Like I said, it's a big town meeting. Who gets voted off the island tonight? Kind of ominous room. But he marches right up to the stage, and then he's gonna kind of indicate that all of you should have a seat on there's like a log. You know, because there's not chairs, so there's several like logs and stones that have been brought in here, and he like motions to Transparastil, I knew there was some steel in there. But he kind of motions to the front pew of the church and indicates that y'all should sit, and he gets himself up on the podium because he is in fact the most important person here.
Little does he know.
I go and stand like 10 feet off to the side to where he asked us to fucking sit, and I'm going to keep my eyes open and like pay attention, but I'm going to start fucking self-repairing diagnostics because I'm really fucked up.
Okay. The rest of
So
you?
all my little arms start coming out and doing weird shit.
Do you tell anyone like you're beat up and broken? Like, do you ask for help, or you just start doing your own thing?
I mean, we all saw it happen.
I meant like the survivors. Like, do you go, hey, our droid's kind of fucked up. You got anything for that, or do you let the droid stand off to the side?
I can speak for myself, thank you, but if somebody wants to speak up, you can.
It sounded like you were
Well,
eating, so I was letting the
that's-
party speak for you.
Yeah, sorry, just a little bit.
Well, when I asked earlier if they would have any way of like possibly repairing a droid or even like extra stim packs or something for like
Yeah,
first aid.
he said they have rudimentary supplies and
so-
stuff. So, does anyone else feel they need medical attention?
Oh, I
I'm
could
super
definitely use some.
good.
I can't see y'all's
I
tokens.
mean-
We'll go back to your tokens just so that y'all can do that shit.
I have 6 wounds that I could get rid of.
I haven't
also
taken
have, I have,
any
I have
wounds.
four wounds. Yes, 4 wounds.
I got
What
the
can
big
I
ol'
do?
11.
I don't know if you heard Zamira, but she took no wounds.
Because
Yeah,
Zamira's
well,
a
you know
fucking
what?
badass.
I was busy trying to steal a ship.
I
I'll
was
trade
busy
4 wounds.
tanking.
I'll trade 4 wounds for a ship any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
What if those wounds would kill you?
Well, I mean, I have a 12 threshold, so 4 shouldn't kill me.
Yeah, but if
Even on Sunday, I would still have 4 left over.
we'll keep that in mind for Koto's inevitable
no.
death,
Mhm.
possibly in an exploding ship.
At least I'll
Um,
die happy.
So we're all kind of hanging out. He wants to get down to business and talk to everyone.
Yeah, so like the 30 survivors and the occasional battle droid, because they're stupid, kind of are mulling in, and he sent somebody to go get Kurtala. So y'all have a couple of moments before like
Mhm.
town hall meeting is going to start. Is there anything y'all want to do? Is there any conversations y'all need to have amongst yourselves? Go.
Captain, as important as we all understand this is, and obviously a long time coming, we're very happy to be here and help you out. We're just happy to be here. However, our droid is heavily damaged, and a few of us do need some first aid. Is it possible for us to get access to that prior to the meeting starting or immediately after the meeting?
He like doesn't even say anything so much as he just kind of motions to somebody off behind you, and then he's focusing on the door, and like kind of you get the impression that he's just waiting on Kurtala before he starts, and he doesn't care about whether all of the other survivors are in the room yet, but he's not going to start till Kurtala gets here. But within a couple of minutes, you'll be supplied with a couple of things. Sam, do you want somebody to help you, or are you going to do your own thing? Like, will you let somebody work on you at all?
Yeah, I'll let somebody give me assistance.
Sure. Sam, it's a little easier for you in the fact that they have more mechanic supplies than they do like stim packs.
Yay.
So you can heal 4 wounds. Everyone else, you can heal 2. They'll give you various like salves and clearly like made from the jungle type stuff to help you out. But
Yippee!
they don't have med packs. But you can get some gauze wrapped around your arm. Some sweet, awesome smelling, by the way, slime to help seal up some cuts and stuff. And then IT is gonna stand off kind of opposite the room from Sam. Like Sam, you said you're off. You're not on the log. You're over towards the wall or whatever from that log. Well, IT is spaced off on the other side of the room from y'all. And then after a few moments, the woman that you all recognize as Kratala will enter, and she's going to take a seat on the front row on the other side of the room. And then, like, she obviously looks up at Harsal for a second, and then gives y'all one of those, like, very clearly judgmental,
Dun, dun,
eyeing you up and
dun.
down, like, looks. She goes from one of you to the next to kind of size you up. And then Harsal's going to start his little spiel. Do y'all remember what Kratala looks like?
Yeah, we have a picture of her.
Chip. Much like the picture, her clothing is a little worse for wear, beat up and stuff around the edges, but you get the idea that most of the other survivors are much more jungle trekking than her. But she does have that sweet cybernetic eye face mask setup thing going on.
That is just so cool.
I really want to
So
pull
cool.
a rocket raccoon and steal her eye.
I need 3 sticks.
I want one of those, but I
dead
think
Nexu.
like on me it would just look terrible.
I think you'd have to integrate it in your lips somehow.
Yeah, your jowls, your
Yeah.
fucking weird ass jowls that you have.
Get the Nixon. I feel a jowl movement coming. Futurama. But Harsal is going to point to IT3 and says, a few of you might remember IT here, the one that was supposed to get our scheme working with Ropak, and he's the reason that we have guests tonight instead of prisoners. When I saw his homing beacon light up on my old receiver, I thought it was just another malfunction. Neenan spent all night analyzing the unit and signal, and we checked it out. I knew we had a new situation here on the ground. So now, if it weren't for this welcoming committee here, monitoring, he says, motioning to the crowd, I would have already questioned these people and announced any good news. If nobody else from the party says anything, a voice from the back suddenly interrupts Harsal once he goes to start up again and says, like we trust you. I bet we would have never heard from them again. It wouldn't be the first time.
Aha! I knew it.
Oh no.
Harsal looks pissed.
Oh no.
And his voice goes to that like super defensive tone you heard earlier when you started pressing your luck with him. And he gets like,
I wasn't
he was
trying to
kind of-
press knock.
yeah, like he was stern with y'all earlier, but this is like almost threatening to the you can do it guy in the back. It's not the same guy, by the way, that made the comment outside. So you get
Mm-hmm.
the distinct feeling that there are multiple people pissed off with Harsal. But Harsal, threatens back. Well, of course it wouldn't. Of course it wouldn't just be me. I would have asked Kratala to join in, of course, just like we always do here in the retreat, right? And the crowd kind of grumbles in disagreement, but no one really is going to speak up to him again. Harsal is going to remain defensive as he continues, and he says, I know a lot of you don't trust me anymore, and you don't trust me to keep you safe, and I know that we do not all agree that hiding from the Empire should be the number one priority after all these years, but maybe with IT3 and his new friends here, we have a way to improve our situation. Maybe even escape the planet eventually, but we do not need to immediately just jump on the first starship out of here. After such long preparation, we now have our chance, and it's important that we continue this slowly and methodically. We need to stay out of an Imperial prison and avoid any execution. Let's take a few minutes to ask some questions and see what everyone thinks. And the room is going to kind of turn into various small conversations in the back. But y'all are free to speak up. It's going to be open conversation at this point. Harsal was clearly leading it to now, but it is now going to be open forum. Y'all can talk to Harsal, Kratala, the rabble in the back.
Rabble. Let's ride on these fools. All right, no, sorry.
Did Steven disappear?
Yeah, I'm not the only person who awkwardly leaves the chat like a doofus.
Steven.
Although he might just have a computer problem. I literally just clicked the wrong thing. Oh no.
Oh god.
Oh no, their internet crashed or something.
They're dropping like flies.
Somebody
It's game over, man. Game over.
You want to just take like a small break until they get back? Because that's 2 people down.
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot them a text because even if their internet died, I should have their physical numbers. Yeah, think about life and stuff. Spend XP if you haven't. This is all important. Yep, there he is. He says our internet dropped.
All right, should only take a minute or 2.
Sure. How are y'all feeling about the module so far? What are your thoughts?
I really want to kill Harsal.
He is kind of a
piece of
dick.
shit. Yeah, he's a real piece of
Harsal,
shit.
yeah.
As it
I'd
turns
really-
out, traitors to the government who then betray even the people that they betrayed, like he left the Republic/Empire and became a separatist, and then when the going got tough, he said, you know what, fuck all y'all, and loaded a bunch of shit on a ship and ran away to do his own thing.
I mean, I don't blame him. If he was around for Order 66, who knows? He probably wouldn't have survived, you know? Like, fucking, you gotta give him his credit where credit's due. Like, he was smart enough to get out when the going was good.
He did in fact survive both the Clone Wars, and the creation of the Empire, but on top of that, he's survived 20 years on Chogana, so it's working for him. People just don't like him.
That's fine.
And
Nobody
people-
likes a guy that tells him what needs to be done.
Yeah. If I was y'all, I'd be pissed at IT. He's a fucker.
Yeah, I was gonna like find a way to give IT sentience, but now fuck him.
Yeah, he missed out
Can
on
we
a
just
gravy
stick a
train.
bunch of magnets on him?
I mean,
if you want to. That's
Oh,
kind of Zamira's thing.
What's my thing?
Sticking magnets on the robots.
Oh yeah. But I do that out of love and annoyance.
What? How could you possibly be annoyed with Sam? All he does is that every night that you need to go to the bathroom, you can't because he stands in there fucking in the way.
No, it's okay. I just pee outside. It's fine.
You pee outside the spaceship that we're all in the middle of space.
Yeah, I go in the airlock and I pee in the airlock and then I just let it go into space.
The airlock.
That's not what other people do?
Airlocks are amazing.
Those airlocks are fucking so rank right now. Then our airlock is like the worst airlock ever. Like every time we get onto a new fucking space station or something, we just have like the worst smelling. Like as soon as, because they pressurize that shit, so as soon as it fucking, oh god, that'd be horrible.
yeah. Are you saying you're
Transparent steel?
That's what the windows are made out of in Star Wars. The spaceship
Man,
windows.
someone thought really hard about that name.
Yeah, well, Durasteel for the actual steel.
It's like steel, but it's durable.
Yeah. I was gonna make the joke that when your ship pressurizes with the space station, it sounds like piss.
Well, and then there's also
Okay, Macklemore.
plasteel. There's also plasteel plating, which is, it's more flexible. Gee, you know what I mean? Like, it's like they don't name shit very well in Star Wars. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Or they do it in just the most on the nose way possible. Although it is Star Wars, so much of it is on the nose.
Lightsaber.
Yeah.
Vibroax. I like that guns are called slug throwers. I thought that was a pretty, fun way to just be like, it's a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know we're very choppy about the system so far, but how do y'all...
I enjoy it. I don't know. I get a real kick out of the dice and just kind of trying to think up stuff on the fly where it's more than just a binary, you did it or you didn't. There's a lot more to it. And I think that makes it a lot more interesting.
Right, and because go ahead.
I was going to say, I've never got to level up a character because I've only played in one shot. So how do you feel about character leveling and stuff like that? But go back to your first point, Corey, before continuing.
Oh, I was just gonna say I like the fact that the way that the skills are laid out makes you have to think more about what you're trying to do, as opposed to just be like, hey, can I fucking insight check this guy to see if he's a dick? You have to be like, hey, I want to try to read into this guy a little bit, or I want to fucking I want to fucking make a pulley system with a dead Rhodian and fucking make it.
How do you want to do this?
It makes you think about doing shit a little bit more instead of just being like, hey, I want to use this skill really quick.
Yeah. It's a combination of the system and the fact that nobody knows the system. The one thing that I like about when people are new to a system, they start asking, how would I do blank? As opposed to I'm at the point in D&D where most people walk into a room and just click the perception button. And it's like, okay, well, what are you doing? Well, I want to make a perception check. Okay, well, I didn't even finish reading the canned box here.
Right, yeah.
So, okay, the fact you rolled a 20 on perception, and now I feel bad if I tell you perception's not what I need here. I need you to make an investigation or whatever. So
I wouldn't feel bad at all. Don't fucking do shit before the DM tells you can. That's rule number 1 of D&D. Don't do shit before the DM tells you that you can. I hate it when people do that shit. Whenever they just click a button and then the DM has to ask them, wait, what are you doing?
Yeah. It's a thing on Roll20 a little bit, but it's also a thing that's slightly annoying in person when you're whether you typed it out or whether you're just spitballing it, you're sitting there describing the room, and before you even get done with the room, one person rolls a d20, so 3 other people start rolling d20s, and they've already rolled the number and saw that they got a 4, so then they say nothing because they already know that they failed, or they got a high number, so they immediately start jumping in with, I got a 25 on perception. Okay, fucker, you see that the door is still closed because you didn't let me finish describing the room.
Yeah, I'd be a dick about it as a DM. Don't roll shit before I tell you the description of the room, for 1, and 2, that what are you guys doing? As soon as I tell you what are you guys doing, then you can make all the fucking rolls that you want. I don't care. But until such time, you shouldn't be rolling anything. You should be paying attention to what the hell's going on.
I think, especially with something like, Roll20, where you're literally on a computer, it gets to a point where people kind of treat it like it's a video game. When I walked into a room, I'm going to use this ability just always.
Yeah.
I was going to do one of my conversation videos like I said, I've been wanting to get a couple of y'all into it where we just like bullshit for a half hour. I was going to do a conversation video about RPGs and the difference between playing online versus offline because there's pros and cons. For example, this super fancy map, I don't have to worry about whether everyone can see the map. All of y'all can scroll around on the map where you need to. You can move your own tokens. Nobody has to reach for shit and stuff like that. That aspect, much easier. I can see all of y'all's character sheets without having to ask for it to be handed to me and stuff like that. So I can do
Yeah.
like passive perception checks and stuff much easier. However, just little things like we're all in one group chat. If I am describing something in person to Ashley, Corey and Rick can have a side conversation like, dude, I'm totally going to start a fight. Yeah, let's do that. Off to the side. All being in the same voice chat, though, if I am talking and anyone else starts talking at all, we're sharing the same 100% audio level. There's no like side casual whisper.
Right.
You can like pull up a text private message conversation on Discord or whatever, or whisper on Roll20, but there's no when one person's talking, everyone has to shut up and listen, or there's a lot more stepping over each other. Whereas at the table, like I can tell the person next to me, like, hey, let's do this, and not interrupt literally everybody else.
Plus, editing a character sheet is so much simpler in Roll20 than having to like have like a laminated sheet with like a fucking dry erase marker and then erase shit and rewrite it, and like
I do
if you're wanting to
and
keep
wet erase, by the way, because
well,
I'm
yeah,
high class.
whatever. But still, like, you do that so that because like you have all your base stuff that's like actually written in there, but then you laminate over it so that like your health points and stuff can be redistributed as needed.
Nope.
And it's just kind of annoying.
Made my own 5e sheets.
And that in and of itself is annoying. It's more satisfying to roll in real life, just because it is. I can't really describe that to anybody unless you've done it. You know what I mean? Like if you haven't played D&D before, then it's like I don't know what to tell you. But it's just more satisfying to actually roll the dice than to click a button and be like, hey, I got this number. But I mean, that's nitpicks, really, if nothing else. I do think Roll20 is a lot easier on the DM, though, because of all the things that you can have open at once and all the stuff that you can have set up in advance. And then just be like, bam, it's on the you click a fucking button and it's on the screen.
Click a button and it bounces between layers, or just click show to players and y'all can all read the handout simultaneously. I'm not like, do I need to print out 5 of these fucking things?
Right, yeah. There's a lot of stuff that makes it way easier on the DM.
And any handouts I give you, you can go like back and check. You don't have to like, hey, did you bring the note we got when we started this campaign? Like y'all can go check that on your own time. But it looks like we have Tally back.
Yes. Hey guys. Okay, so mine came back up right away. Steven's computer went totally down and he's trying to restart it, but in the meantime he's going to be on the Surface, so he's working on that now.
Oh,
I
fun.
usually play from the Surface.
Say again?
Nothing, I'm an asshole. We were just filling the void with some conversation.
I got so upset because I was like so into what you were saying. I literally yelled out like, no, when I
Darth
lost.
Vader me. Yeah, that's why we didn't want to continue. Like, I know there's not a lot of like Zamira killing things this session, but like all of the important story aspects are falling into place. Like IT3 having his own plans this whole time. Harsal being a dick and the survivors not really having full faith in him anymore, but him even in the it's very clear that he's not wanting to just jump on the first ship and like be back to civilization. Even after 20 years, he's in no rush to like run back, have a hot shower, and eat a real meal. Like he is still, the Empire is out there. They're going to find me. Like I need to be here and I need to do this, and we will set up an actual functioning base here, and we will keep it secret, and we will do black market stuff. He is not, castaway levels of anything to get back to society or civilization. I mean,
Little does he know that in 3 years the Empire's not going to be much of anything.
well, that would just be meta knowledge, wouldn't it? But it's fun. I like role playing. I just suck at voices.
All right, you can continue on because he can hear everything you're saying, but he can't talk yet, so you're good.
Okay. Well, I had kind of just opened the floor. I don't know at what point y'all disconnected because I know it takes Discord a second to blink off.
Yeah.
But Harsal had
Oh, shoot.
continuing on.
Okay, you're good.
Harsal had given his little spiel, and somebody in the back made the like we trust you. I bet we would have never heard from it again. It wouldn't be the first time.
And he was like, I know you guys don't trust me much anymore, but this could be good.
Yeah, this could
Things
be
are changing for the better.
Things are changing for the better.
And that's pretty much where we...
Maybe IT and his new friends here have a way to improve our lot. Maybe even escape this planet and still stay out of an imperial prison or an execution chamber. So let's take a few minutes and ask questions and see what everyone thinks. And then, like I said, discussion is going to kind of ripple through the crowd. Do y'all talk amongst yourselves? Do you talk to Harsal?
I'm going to raise my furry paw because I have a question.
What do you got? Honey bunches of oats.
If you were serving in the Clone Wars, how do you know what the Empire is?
What?
I mean, are you Steven being funny purposely or
No, I'm genuinely curious.
Okay, because you know that he served in the Clone Wars and then was part of the Separatist movement, but once the Empire once Palpatine made the Empire and there was, the Empire, they bolted.
So it was after that. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's why
I'm sorry. I was just confused.
That's why I was wanting to clarify whether
No, I wasn't trying to be a dick. I was just genuinely curious.
Yeah, right as the Empire was set up, the ship made a bolt for it. He had kind of split after the Clone Wars, but as Palpatine set up the Empire, he got as much of the loot and tech and stuff as he could from the CIS and made a jump for it. And the story that he told Tally earlier, which bunches would have missed because he was on the ship, but just a reminder, he told Tally as we were getting ready to flee, punching in coordinates and stuff, the Empire actually showed up and started shooting at us and damaged our ship as we jumped. So he was running from the Empire, not from the Clone Wars. He wasn't running from the Republic.
Got it.
Make sense?
I'd like to gauge Kratala's reaction to all this. Is she taking it in, or is she kind of panicked?
Kratala is very much not panicked. She seems kind of bitchy, for lack of a better way of putting it. Not that all the NPCs that y'all meet in the jungle are as asshole-ish as Harsal, but new and confusing situation, and jungle life is hard and tough, and so she's not just a beaming ray of sunshine, but she is very she's very calculating and trying to take all this in and see what's going on with this new development. And it's clear that she is very much she paid full attention to Harsal. She wasn't one of those people grumbling and muttering. She very clearly still has respect for him, but you didn't see her jumping to his defense with anything. She let him handle stuff.
Got it.
You can walk over there and talk to her if you want.
Okay. Are the questions being directed like everybody's kind of like buzzing and talking? Are they going to talk to
full
us?
on conversation. So there will be people talking to Harsal. People are gonna talk to y'all. Y'all can talk to people. Y'all can talk to Harsal. Y'all can talk to Kartala. Like open conversation. But I'm giving y'all free reins to start conversations because I've been doing a whole bunch of talking.
Yeah.
Does Kratala have that mad scientist look in her eye?
That's our picture.
She's not crazy. Like she's not Doc Brown. Like she is, like I said, calculating. She is. She's she made the choices she made very calculating, in that she figured they best served herself. And that's the information that you got from IT or from wherever, in that she ran away from what would theoretically be a safe life for her as long as she served Palpatine. She would probably be like, if she's the Emperor's personal cybernetic / medic person, probably going to live a comfortable life, even if shitty, because she's basically a slave. But like, she's going to be in the palace and etc. Well, she knowingly stepped away from all of that and ran to wild space in hopes of a better life, kind of thing. Like she's smart and calculating, not just going along with the plan and seeing how the experiment goes. But she did totally put electric claws on a Nexu, so
Balance,
So she's not entirely crazy. She's just crazy.
yeah, she's not mad scientist. She's something though. Did you, Tally, have questions for Katala?
Yes. Okay. So it's a little chaotic in there, but I make my way over to her and I stick out my hand for a handshake. You must be Kratala. My name is Talik. You can call me Tally. This is my friend Honey Bunches, MD, and I've got the rest of my gang here. We're the ones that were hired by Ropok's son to come and find you guys.
She will return the handshake. And, she'll start with, I'm assuming you already know who I am, but I'm Kratala, and it's certainly interesting. We'll go with interesting. It's certainly interesting to have new people here in the retreat. Was not what I was expecting today. Certainly not what I was expecting today, but perhaps like Harsal says, this will be a chance and a change for the better. And you're no friends of the Empire, I'm assuming, so perhaps that deal we had with Isotech can be put into play after all these years. I'm running quite short on equipment and materials, so a steady supply to the outside world, whether it be through Isotech or I'm sure, considering the type of work you've been hired for, you all have your own connections, and I certainly hope we can come to some sort of agreement.
Yeah, that would be great. I agree. We are planning on taking proof back to Realm that we found you guys, that you have survived, and then they can continue on with that's our part of the bargain. If you want to, we can help get you back if you want to speak with Realm in person. There's no reason for him, obviously, to hand you over to the Empire. I'm sure he'll keep you very safe, and I'm sure you might want some time off from being on this planet.
I'm not so sure on that. Harsal does raise valid points in that it might be safest for us to remain here on Solgana. We are going to be taking quite a risk in having our location and the fact that we survived out there. So I'm quite sure that he's going to want to make sure that the lot of you are trustworthy and not looking to just sell us out in hopes of a bigger paycheck. Because I can certainly guarantee you that a long-standing agreement between us and the black market, once we can start getting resources and technology and I can get to real work, a long-standing relationship would be mutually beneficial and certainly pay out more than simply hoping to cash out on any imperial bounties, especially after all this time.
Well, its technology has come a long way in the last 20 years. Are you sure you want to hang out here? And I mean, you'd be able to see what's new and be able to actually have a space where you can work.
Oh, I'm certainly sure that things have, evolved over time. I am hoping to set up shop here and have new technology and resources brought in. We have very rudimentary at best defenses here, as you can see. So the first bit of order would be to get new equipment and materials and weapons and simple things like clothing would greatly increase
Oh, I'm sure.
our situation here. But I think the first step is going to be getting the tools and equipment we need to defend this place, as well as access the locked off portions of the ship, because that will give us the resources we need to fund those acquisitions.
hmm Well, my compliments. We did run into some of your handiwork on part of the ship, your cybernetic Nexu.
she chuckles to herself. Just for general conversation, y'all can tell that there's plenty of people in the crowd that are of the opinion that they should leave the planet as soon as possible. But you do hear, even among the crowd, several of them are concerned that the more of them that leave the planet, the better the chance that the Empire will find out about them, and that any of them on the planet or off the planet will be hunted down, killed, or imprisoned.
That sounds pretty inconvenient.
Yeah, it's kind of rude.
You get a free ride. You get a free ride. The general consensus there is that in a room full of 30 plus people, basically every side of the debate has at least one person going, well, what about? It's quite clear that there's a few people still sticking with Harsal, but most people are focused on their own safety. They just don't all agree on what the best way to keep them safe is. Some of them clearly want a shower, a clean meal, and to go the fuck home. Other ones are like, yeah, but you go home and you start blabbing, they're going to come hunt me at my house, or they're going to come find us. The people that want to stay on Solgana are worried that if a bunch of people just suddenly show up after 20 years and try to fit back into life, somebody's going to spill, and it's only a matter of time. So the folks that want to stay on the planet don't want the people to leave. The people that want to leave are like, fuck you, I've endured 20 years of this. Like, there's lots of arguing going on.
Gotcha. My thought behind it was just like common ground. Like there probably would be somebody that wants to leave, so I was just trying to be nice, but it's kind of backfiring here. Like nobody.
No, there are definitely people who want to leave. It's clear that Harsal doesn't want to leave, and talking to Kurtala, she agrees that at least for her and Harsal, it's best that they stay here. She didn't outright say no one could leave, but she did say that she thinks remaining on Solgana is the safest option. And
Okay.
equipping them with supplies that they need before just, everyone
Yeah.
running to the closest fucking Starbucks.
Well, Kratala, you should know that we were followed here initially, and we were able to take out the group that followed us. However, they mentioned that there's a possibility of more Rhodians coming. So there is a chance you guys will have to deal with that. Either we can deal with it while we're still here if they happen to show up. Otherwise, they may come after we're already gone.
And these were other scavengers or other groups hired by who? Who were these people?
That is an excellent question. They were part of a gang that sort of preys on the outskirts of, yeah. Clan. There you go. Yeah, our
Yeah.
clan.
The
You're
Yayars.
familiar. And it seems that they were scavenging at the wheel at the time where we were given this job from Riom, and they followed us all the way here.
I see. She's going to tell you she doesn't know who the Yayar clan are, but that it sounds like they're just other folks looking to get rich off, the wreck. I'm quite sure that plenty of people heard the story of the ship leaving, so for many, they have no concern with us and the survivors. They're just looking to get rich. We have had an encounter or two in the past. I'm sure you overheard what the gentleman in the back had to say. But again, at the time, it was early enough in our stay here that they were swiftly dealt with to make sure that no word of our location got out. However, things have kind of gone a little downhill since many of our droids were destroyed in the actual landing, and what we have left are barely holding together. Not that the B1s were ever a marvel of engineering. The separatist movement definitely went quality over quantity on them, and I'm doing what I can, but I do really need better tools and equipment.
So when other people came to sort of loot or scavenge what they could, maybe looking for the treasure, did they crash their ships, or what happened to their ships that you guys were still stuck here?
That is a great answer that the book does not necessarily address. However, it has that one guy shout, "It wouldn't be the first time," and then gives me no information about that. And I really don't see like they would have destroyed the ships or anything.
Yeah.
But I, Seal, do not have an answer for that question for Kartala to give you.
Okay,
If I
sorry.
find it later in the book, I will let you know.
Okay.
But somebody definitely makes a "wouldn't be the first time" joke. But I see no, like, there's totally a ship parked outside the base covered in a cloth.
Okay.
We'll see, I guess.
All right. So after talking with Kratala, I'd like to kind of turn to the assembly and just reiterate. So you've all been here for quite some time. It's no secret that we are leaving soon. We've done our job. We've found you guys, which we are very happy about, and we can accommodate a certain number of you back with us if you'd like to leave.
You're trying to stir shit up.
Yeah. It's gonna be a charm check at a hard difficulty. And that's, again, we're not dealing with specific pass fail. We are looking to see your roll and then kind of gauge the situation. Lots of
Okay.
success,
Well,
lots
I'm
of
a little
threat.
charming.
I feel like that's exactly how this would go over in this room. Like, there are definitely people okay with this. However, there are definitely people not okay with this. Sure, I'll take that question in mind. However, I got one side conversation that's going to be happening kind of behind you as you're having this conversation. And we'll try to wrap a couple of the other folks into what's going on here, because Harsal is going to turn to IT3 and ask him how y'all found him here. And IT3 is simply going to say, "Oh, well, we received a message pod that was originally addressed to Ropak and addressed to his offices at the Wheel. However, it seems that it was set adrift in space. I think it was fired during the initial crash of the ship. However, only recently found. So we didn't know exactly where the ship was, but we knew to come to this system, and it was just a matter of searching the planet for several days, or a couple of days, and getting lucky." You can hear some murmurs and stuff about that. Harsal will take that, and he's going to turn to the rest of y'all, since Tali's over there talking to Kurtala in the crowd, and he's going to kind of ask y'all about the state of the Empire.
I'll speak up at this point,
Sure.
since I kind of know the most about the Empire, maybe, in this group.
Sure.
Yeah, Sam will just kind of walk forward and be like, currently the Empire is engaged with an ongoing war with the rebels. And honestly, they're doing quite well against them. There have been a couple of setbacks for the rebels, as they don't have the same technology or resources that the Empire has. But they seem to be holding strong. I've heard inklings of a few small groups that are a little tougher than most, and have made it through enemy lines on more than one occasion. But other than that, I haven't heard anything too substantial to show that the Empire is in fact losing power in any sort of way.
The rebels, is it like an organized planet or systems, or is it loosely, how are they organized? Like, is this open rebellion, or are we talking like guerrilla warfare and just people who don't like the Empire?
Based on what's in my data banks, there was an organized planet of rebels. They have since scattered from said place, and as far as I know, I'm not 100% sure if they're accepting everyone, but they are well organized for as small of a group as they are.
Well, at least there's that, I suppose. Do you think that the rebels would be a potential buyer of any technology, or not necessarily an ally? Because clearly we're wanting to remain unaffiliated in the Galactic War and out of the eyes of the Empire, and working directly and giving supplies directly to their enemies isn't necessarily the best look. So it would, most likely be through black market dealings here and there. But do you think that the rebels would have the resources and, more importantly, money to buy the sort of stuff that we are hoping to output?
Given the last state of the rebels that I had heard of, or had placed in my memories, Unfortunately, I'm not 100% sure exactly the resources that the rebels have, especially when it comes to money and purchasing black market technology. Although I would think that selling to the rebels would put you in more of a harm's way than selling to any other potential buyers. The Empire is very adamant in making sure that anyone who helps the rebels is quelled as immediately as possible.
He's gonna kind of like bite the inside of his lip and just kind of mull that over, and you can see that that kind of sours the mood in the crowd. That it seems like the Empire is so well established and that they are able to deal with basically that the Empire is so well established and that there's not an open rebellion and a war like there was between the Separatists and the Republic. That it's more like, hit and miss guerrilla tactics and, subterfuge and hiding, and not just like an actual, open war with the Empire. That the Empire is just dealing with pockets.
Please do understand though that my information is at least 6 years out of date, as I have come to the Outer Rim and kept myself away from both sides of that war as harshly as possible.
Okay. We'll certainly have to keep that in mind. We don't necessarily need specifics on the Empire, but of course, information is what wins battles and wars, and the only information we have is some 20 years out of date. So everything we can find out about the galaxy is certainly to our advantage, considering.
Well, should you wish it, whenever we are to go to the meeting place that we have all discussed with our employer, I could perhaps use some of their resources to see what I can find out for the next trip that we make back here, so that I can give you more information when the time comes.
Where is the meeting place, by the way? Are you meeting Riom there personally, or is it a drop location? Like, what is the specifics of the job you all are hired to do?
The job that we were hired to do was to come here and make sure that you and Riom's father were both living. If not, then we were supposed to gather as much information from the wreckage of the ship as we possibly could. And we were to establish, if you were alive, we were to either head back to our meeting point, which Sam kind of looks around. I don't think that we should be discussing with everyone here. And once we are to rendezvous at our meeting point, we will be able to establish either trade routes or a way to come and pick up the scavenge that was left within the ship, and Riom and his company could begin to either make the things that I suppose was your job to do, or at least your companion's job to do. Or if we found you alive, then establish trade routes between the two and make sure that a business relationship was put together solidly before our job was finished.
All right. Well, at least we can work with that. It's not exactly what we were hoping to set up when this all started, but I think these are as good of cards as any that we're going to be dealt. So I think we can provide you with enough information and proof that we are still in this deal, and you can report to Isotech and make sure that this deal goes through accordingly, and we will begin to set up what we need to get things going. And then once we are more capable of defending ourselves and have access to the stuff within the Sanala ore, then we can begin looking at the possibilities of getting folks off of Cholgana and back to the empire, or the galaxy rather, the galaxy at whole, because we are clearly going to need fences and contacts out there. And I promise, and he kind of turns from you into the crowd at this point. He says, I promise that, you know, the time is coming, but right now I really think that it's going to be safest if we all keep the retreat safe and we wait on the deal to be struck. So he's clearly trying to like buy back some favor with the crowd, to be like, you know, let's get things established and then people can get off this rock.
If it will put everyone's mind at ease, now that we are here and we can gather proof of the survivors here on Cholgana, it should not take much longer for help and supplies to be coming. Our trip towards our rendezvous point is close enough to this venue where we can get there and hopefully have supplies sent to you within, I would say, a week, maybe 2 at the most.
Yeah, it wouldn't be more than a couple of days. I will travel there and a few days
Okay, yeah,
back.
I didn't want to say, and because I didn't know
Yeah.
exactly how far the travel was,
Yeah.
or like how long it was going to take negotiations with Rio once we gave him information.
Like out of character, Sam would know that like 6 days tops travel time to and from, a couple of days. So a week and a half is not at all like way out there guesstimate on y'all getting there, setting up some stuff, and a ship being loaded with comfy pillows, new shorts, and whatever else you can rake into the cart at the Gap to come back here.
Gotta make sure we get them enough staples too.
But at that point, he's going to kind of dismiss the crowd, so to speak, and everyone else will, you know, grumble and kind of leave. He's like, look, we all still have jobs to do. It's important to continue on. I am going to have a conversation with the survivors here, but, you know, time doesn't stop just because they've got here. So it's we still need sentries out there. We still need to worry about getting food and water, and especially now that not one but 2 ships have arrived in such a short period of time, we need to be on our best guard, because we're not yet sure if this Yayar clan did get word out about the location, and so we need to be ready in the event that anyone comes looking for them. So everyone get back to your jobs and to your stations. I have a few more questions for the group here, but let's not lose sight of the goal just because there's new people here, and you know, grumbling and murmuring, and people kind of wander out, and 1 or 2, you know, sad whoops from an astromech, and you know, the crowd kind of disperses, leaving you with Harsal, Kratala, and like 1 or 2 other people. Do you have more specific questions for them in private?
If no one else has anything, I'm just gonna start to slowly back away. Well, thank you for hospitality. Thanks for fixing us up best you could. I'm very glad we found you. We'll just head back to our ship and we'll be on our way. That way you guys can get your supplies and electronics sooner.
Does anyone else say anything?
Nope.
I'll walk up to Kratala. Excuse me, Madam Kratala. My name is Sam Hamich. It's an honor to meet you.
She doesn't get the joke.
No, it's okay. He doesn't think it's a joke at all. Like he says it straight faced, like it's no joke. He just says, I understand that you're very well versed in cybernetics, but how well are you with droids?
Not specifically my forte. However, in dealing with many of the cybernetic systems, robotic technology is something I have a working knowledge in. It's not my passion, so to speak, but I can certainly navigate my way around. Is there something specific you're after?
Well, I have the blueprints to my design, which is quite unique, but definitely old. Probably even older than most of the technology that you've come across.
Mm-hmm.
My issue is that I wish to upgrade myself, but I don't know exactly how to go about it from a starting point, if you would. But I do have the blueprints for my original design.
What sort of upgrades are you looking to do?
Well, for one, my chassis is very old, and due to the nature of this jungle, is starting to get a little worse for wear. And my voice modulator, if you couldn't tell, has been broken for quite some time.
Mm-hmm. She's
Then there were
clearly
also
interested.
weapons and certain computating system upgrades that I was looking to induce. You see, I was built with I was built the way that I am. I do not follow a programming nor anything than what I don't want to do, and I don't respond to. Well, I've never had a memory wipe before, but I've been alive for quite some time.
IT3 you kind of get the feeling that IT3 is listening to this conversation. Like at first, when y'all first got here, like him and Harsal were talking, and he, stood off to the side. But as everyone else has left, like there's only the half dozen of y'all in the room now,
Right.
and IT3 is kind of gravitating towards. He's not pointedly ignoring y'all, but he's also like not minding his own business. Because he's an asshole. Are you looking to do like a complete overhaul, or are you simply looking to upgrade the pieces that you have, integrate weapons, or upgrade the metals of your chassis and stuff like that? Or are you talking about trying to move your brain to a new body?
Oh, no, no, no. Hmm. Currently, I don't think that that would be beneficial. I believe upgrades is all that is necessary. Little ones here and there to start with, of course, but as I go on, as I said, the platings and some of the wirings in me is a bit old. However, as far as I can tell from the blueprints, my brain functionality and everything else was quite ahead of its time. I don't know if necessarily moving my brain into a new body would be the more beneficial way of doing things, but it's not what I want to do.
Mm-hmm. I can certainly understand that. I'm gonna need you to make me a charm check, but I'm not gonna tell you how hard it is.
Oh, I hate you. I suck at charm.
Yeah, well, make more charming, sentient robot people.
Well, if you do badly, you can always just talk to me later and I'll try again with her.
Yeah, you really suck at charm, huh?
Oh yeah, I suck real bad. Like he's only good at intelligent shit. He's only good at like computers and mechanics and shit. Everything else he sucks ass with.
The DM will remember this. Your charm has been noted and filed into the logs.
Oh, I don't like that.
I mean, you don't have to not like that. I didn't say it was bad. I'm just saying I'll remember that you rolled a 1. One success. Maybe. So Talia was like, cool, we're gonna totally leave now, and was like kind of edging towards the door. Harsal is going to kind of put a stop to that and basically say, well, considering the time of day and considering that we still have, I know we've discussed a lot, but I feel like we have some specifics that we'll need to discuss still, particularly in what proofs and perhaps, prototype or something from Kachala to show that we still very much have the technology that's promised. We need details to be sorted out, and I need some time to talk to IT3 specifically. I think it's going to be best that you all at least spend the night here, because you certainly don't want to start trekking back to your ships once the sun starts setting. So probably first thing in the morning if we can get it all sorted out today. But I think it's beneficial to everyone involved if we get things specifically detailed out in who is expecting what from whom, and we get all of our insert Star Wars version of a duck in a row.
Yep, ducks in a row. I give him a really wide smile and I say, "Great idea, Captain. Tomorrow it is." 'Cause that's
Ooh,
what I want.
ooh. I do not do well with mosquitoes.
I don't know what those are.
They're the little bugs that bite you.
We have lots of those here.
I don't know what those are. We have lots of those here.
We also have plenty of the big bugs that bite you, so
Bugs do not bother me.
if you're concerned, several of the survivors have figured out a concoction of various plants that it smells great. We'll put it that way. It certainly keeps the insects away.
Well, as long as it smells good, I'm fine with it.
Oh,
What
well,
else does it
fit
keep
right in.
away?
No comment.
Since
It
Bunches
unfortunately doesn't. It's not strong enough to keep the tree octopuses or the Nexu away, but it'll do wonders in making sure you're not covered in a million tiny bug bites and worried about disease.
Kind of sounds like 60% of the time it works 100% of the time.
Yes. It works until it doesn't. What'd you have, Sam?
I was just gonna say, since Bunches and I are ascot buddies, I'm gonna walk over to him and try to whisper, but again, voice modulator broken, so it just comes out normal. And I think he was trying to be sarcastic.
Whisper. I think he was trying to be sarcastic. End statement.
I was totally gonna do that for this character. Do the HK-47 thing where he like says like statement.
Query. What is
Yeah.
the fuck wrong with you? Inquisitive. What? But I'm gonna go ahead and like end the structured bit there because we are at 10 minutes to our standard shutdown time. So in character, out of character, questions, comments, and concerns, and kind of like whatever, but start winding down and getting to a stopping point.
I will be right back, like 2 seconds.
Fucker. Tell him to wind down and he runs away.
Yeah, I had one extra little point I wanted to say, but I'll just wait till he gets back, make sure.
Ah, yes, the perfect time for a break.
Just assume that there's, kind of a general barrage of like, what's the status of, like he was asking y'all in front of the group earlier, but now that y'all are alone, he's like more pointed, kind of trying to get a feel whether y'all know things about the black market and like how it's just between him and Kratala, you're kind of getting, the treatment of we haven't had outside contact in 20 years.
Okay, I'm back.
What's the nature of things?
Yes, I know a lot about the black market, and I am going to tell him about it.
Okay.
'Cause I
Insert that information here.
I just know that my character does know about it a lot, and
No, you can make a pretty convincing, like,
yeah,
you can share as much or as little about your own like dealings with like the pikes and stuff like that, but
Sure.
you can bring up various stuff about your dealings on the wheel and different organizations, and say, you can get the details out there.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, well, I've been working, in the black market for the last few years, and I think there's a real market for what you guys are planning on selling. Maybe when it's all said and done, I can help show you the ropes or kind of see what's going on with the state of things.
Of course.
Now that Cap's back, I just want to do like a tiny little retroactive thing. Earlier when I was saying, he said he definitely wants us to stay overnight. And I, kind of did like a whole 180 thing. What I was saying was, great idea, Captain, that's going to be great. And the reasoning behind that is I wanted him to like that to be his idea, that we just spend the one night and that's it, because I don't want to spend more than one night out here in the jungle.
Copy.
And like ready to, and that like also gives us a time frame so we know for sure we get to leave in the morning type thing.
Sure. We'll see what the book has to say about that, but sure.
Oh. All right. Anyway, so I finish up telling them about the black market, at least what I know. And I'm sure there are other people in my group that also know a lot about the black market. Turning to Dr. Honeybunches.
I know things.
He drinks and he knows things.
I don't actually think I know too much. I just fly ships and steal them. I really have only stolen the one. To be honest, this was the first.
I didn't pay much attention in Black Market 101. I just kind of went where I was told.
Oh, speaking of drinks, I haven't fueled up in a while, so I take a couple of hits from my flask.
Sure. Tolly, since you've been doing a ton of the talking, since, that's your deal, could you give me a negotiation check? Don't worry about the difficulty. I'll roll difficulty. But just give me a general vibe on how well you're... You can do negotiation or charm.
Oh, you know which one I'm going to use then.
Yeah. Okay.
3 success.
Yeah, it's nice.
And 2 advantage.
2 advantage.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so like I said, we're going to kind of wrap down today's session here. Just assume that y'all were having this conversation and then he kind of lets you're free to like check out the settlement, more or less. Him, Kratala, and IT3 are going to have a side conversation. And a few moments after y'all leave the central building, Kratala will kind of also leave, and it's clear that Harsal and IT3 are having a conversation. So y'all can have a not in front of Harsal conversation with Kratala starting next game.
Cool.
Sounds good.
But we're ending at y'all are free to explore the settlement. Do y'all want to start next game with like settlement details, or would you prefer I just tell y'all locations in Discord and y'all can decide where you want to go? Or
I would say Discord, and then we can decide like how much we want to do downtime personally.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
It'll probably be like Monday before I get any ton of information out. But I'll get you the map of the settlement and the like.
Well, no rush. I mean,
names.
if it doesn't work out, we can always do it at the beginning of the session.
Yeah, I just like having we totally need to go see the Nexu cage. Instead
There's
of
the
like,
Nexu cage?
I mean, Adjoining the
Cage is
exterior
empty.
perimeter
Cool.
fence is an enormous, fully enclosed cage. The cage consists of rusted metal fence spanning thick tree trunks and posts created from the ship's superstructure. Scraps from the hull serve as heavy reinforcement. Kratala and her staff use this cage along with sections of interlocking enclosures to contain Nexu and various other creatures for their experiments.
I do want to find out who's the shitty carpenter that had me fall off a ladder.
To be fair, that ladder was 20 years old.
Yeah.
Back in my day, we built things to last.
Oh no. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
Good
Have
night.
fun.